Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is another Christian apologist. He is popularly known as David Ward. He mentioned so many verses which he thinks they are contradictory in the Holy Quran. We will take the verses one after the other and we will make it clear to everyone that this is not contradiction. So let's listen to his first contradiction.
How long did it take Allah to create the universe? According to Surah 7 verse 54, it took 6 days. According to Surah 41 verses 9 to 12, it took 8 days.
This reminds me of my recent video that I did about the danger in misinterpreting the Holy Quran without actually having the knowledge of interpretation of the Holy Quran. And I still want to remind you that lack of Quran interpretation training causes a lot of danger in interpreting the Holy Quran. So we really need to learn how to interpret the Quran before we start interpreting or before we start saying that there are contradictions in the Holy Quran. Because this is one of the consequences of not interpreting the Quran correctly. You will think there are lots of contradiction in the Quran until you learn the actual interpretation of the Quran from scholars. Here in this video footage, David Wood mentions two different verses in different chapters. He mentioned Quran 7 verse 54 in Surah Al-A'raf, and also he mentioned Quran 41 verse 9 to 12 in Surah Al-Fussilat. He said these two verses are contradictory. He said in first verse in Surah Al-A'raf, Allah created the universe in 6 days. Whereas in second verse in Surah Al-Fussilat, he said Allah said he created the universe in 8 days. Now let's take a look at the interpretation of these two verses. In the first verse in Surah Al-A'raf in chapter 7 verse 54, Allah said, "Indeed, your Lord is Allah, who created the heavens and earth in 6 days, and then established himself above the throne." Here, this verse is very clear. Allah said he created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and there is no any ambiguous statement here. So now let's check the second verse, which he thinks is contradictory to the first verse. In Surah Al-Fussilat, Quran 41, verse 9 to 12, where Allah said, "Ask them, O Prophet, how can you disbelieve in the one who created the earth in 2 days?" So this is the first verse where Allah said he created the earth in 2 days. So the next verse, which is 10, it says, "He placed on the earth firm mountains standing high, showered his blessings upon it, and ordained all its means and sustenance, totaling 4 days exactly, for all who ask." So I think this is where the confusion came from. According to the understanding of David Wood, he said Allah created the earth in 2 days. So the next verse, which says that the mountain, the sustenance, and everything was created in totaling of 4 days. He thought Allah created the mountain and the sustenance differently in 4 days, and then the earth differently. But this is not true. Allah created everything. That is why he said totaling of 4 days, which means he created both the earth, the mountain, the sustenance, and everything in totaling of 4 days. The 2 days that was mentioned in the previous verse was included in this verse. And that's what Allah meant by saying totaling of 4 days. That means both the earth, the sustenance, and everything, Allah created them in 4 days. Then the 12th verse where Allah said, "So he formed the heaven into 7 heavens in 2 days, assigning to each its mandate." So if you sum up the total number of days here that Allah used in creating everything here, you will see that the 4 days which is being used in creating the earth, the mountains, and its sustenance and everything in 4 days, including the last 2 days, making a total of 6 days. But according to David Wood's calculation, he calculated a separate 2 days used in creating the earth, and a separate 4 days, which 2 days creation of the earth was included, and then the last 3 days of the creation of 7 heavens. He summed it up to make it a total of 8 days, which is very, very wrong. The total days is 6 days, because the first 2 days which Allah used in creating the earth was included in the second 4 days, which Allah created both the earth and everything in 4 days. And then the last 2 days which Allah used in creating the 7 heavens, making a sum total of 6 days and not 8 days. I think this is where the misinterpretation of these verses came from, that he said the earth was created in 8 days in this verse, and in the previous verse in Surah Al-A'raf he said the earth was created in 6 days. This is the misinterpretation because there is no any contradiction in the Holy Quran. So for example, if I say I did my university project in 2 years, and I had my lessons, my examinations, and round up my university in 4 years, and then I did my postgraduate university in 2 years. So now, if you want to sum up the total number of years I did in my higher institution, how will you calculate the number of years I did in my higher institution? So will you say 2 years of my university project plus 4 years of my examination, including my lessons and rounding up my university, and then 2 years of my postgraduate university, making a total of 8 years? Or would you say 4 years of my undergraduate university, which includes my project, my examination, my lessons and everything, including rounding up of the university, plus 2 years of my postgraduate university, making a sum total of 6 years. So now tell me, is it 6 years or 8 years? Think about it logically and make the calculation.